You're being drained right now. You followed the script. You got the grades, you landed the job, but the math isn't adding up, is it? You feel like you're running a race on a treadmill while someone else controls the speed. That's because you are. There is a silent hand in your pocket, an invisible enemy that school never mentioned. Why? Because the system doesn't need you to be free. It needs you to be a predictable battery. They gave you the tools to be a perfect employee, but they hid the keys to your exit. I spent years wondering why my teachers were silent about the only formula that actually matters. Then I realized their silence is the foundation of your debt. There is a mathematical constant that separates the elite from the working class. It's called the Rule of 72. It is the fastest way to see how quickly your money doubles, or how fast it's being stolen from you. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on the greatest threat to the status quo. If you feel like the game is rigged, you're not crazy. You're just starting to see the code. I'm going to show you how to hack it. Subscribe now, or stay in the dark. The choice is yours. The revelation and the engineering of slavery. Let's stop pretending. High school wasn't a mistake. It was a filter. You spent years memorizing the quadratic formula, the stages of mitosis, and the names of dead kings. But you graduated without knowing how to turn $100 into 1,000. That's not an oversight. It's a feature of the system. They don't want you owning the casino. They need you at the table, losing with a smile, praying for a bonus or a 3% raise. The most dangerous weapon they kept from you is a simple mathematical law. It's called the Rule of 72. They say Albert Einstein called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. He allegedly said the discovery of the Rule of 72 was more important than his theory of relativity. Think about that. The man who solved the fabric of the universe thought this was more vital for your survival. But the code was actually written 500 years ago by Luca Pacioli, the father of accounting. 5 centuries of wealth-building secrets locked in bank vaults and ivory towers while you were busy color-coding your notes in history class. Here's the secret they didn't want you to calculate. 72 divided by the interest rate equals the time it takes for your money to double. That's it. One division. One number that determines if you're a master or a servant. Let's look at the math of your safety. Your bank offers you a savings account with 1% interest. They pitch it as security. I call it a financial coma. Take 72, divide it by 1. The answer is 72. It will take you 72 years to double your money. If you put $10,000 in that account today, you'll have $20,000 when you're nearly a century old. You won't be enjoying that profit. You'll be using it to pay for your own hospice care. Now look at the other side. You find an investment, an index fund, a real estate deal that yields 10%. 72 divided by 10 is 7.2. In 7 years, your money doubles. In 14 years, it quadruples. In 21 years, you have 8 times what you started with. While the 1% person is still waiting for their first double, you've already won the game. This isn't just better math. It's a different reality. But here is where it gets dark. Here is where the slavery part stops being a metaphor and starts being your bank statement. The system trains you to focus on your salary. They want you to think in a straight line. If I work 40 hours, I get $1,000. That is linear growth. It's a trap. Because your time is limited, your income is capped. Real wealth is exponential. And the banks know this better than anyone. When you save that money at 1%, the bank doesn't put it in a silk-lined box. They take your money and lend it to someone else on a credit card at 18% or 24% interest. Let's do the bank's math. 72 divided by 18 is 4. The bank doubles your money every 4 years. In the 72 years you're waiting to turn your $10,000 into $20,000, the bank has doubled that same capital 18 times. Do you understand the scale of that heist? They aren't just making a profit. They are building skyscrapers and buying politicians using the spread between your ignorance and their expertise. You are being kept in a cycle where you work for money while your money is working for them. I call this the invisible leash. As long as you don't understand the Rule of 72, you can't plan your escape. You'll always feel like you're just one side hustle away from freedom, but you'll never get there. Why? Because you're fighting an exponential battle with a linear mindset. The system creates a fog of jargon They use terms like diversified portfolios, liquidity ratios, and market volatility to make you feel stupid. They want you to think investing is too risky for a normal person. So, you surrender. You hand your paycheck to a financial advisor who works for the bank. You're handing the keys of your prison to the warden and thanking him for the security. Let's use an analogy. We're in a race. I give you a pair of lead boots. I tell you the finish line is 50 miles away and that you should be proud of how fast you can walk. Meanwhile, I'm sitting in a Ferrari. The school system spent 12 years teaching you how to tie the laces on those lead boots. They gave you gold stars for walking in a straight line, but they never mentioned that cars even existed. The rule of 72 is the car. It's infuriating. It's not that you aren't working hard enough. You're probably working harder than the people in the Ferraris, but you're playing a rigged game. When you understand that rate X time equals doubling, you stop looking at how much you earn per hour. You start looking at how much your money earns per hour. If you realize that an 8% return isn't just 4% more than a 4% return, it's actually twice as fast toward your freedom. Your entire perspective shifts. The elite understand this. They don't save. They multiply. They know that if they can find a 12% return, their capital doubles every 6 years. In 24 years, they've doubled their wealth 4 times. That's a 16x increase. Meanwhile, the safe saver at 1% is still waiting for their first 2x. The system needs you to stay mathematically illiterate. They need you to see a 20% interest rate on a car loan and think, I can afford the monthly payment. They don't want you to realize that 20% means you are handing the lender the power to double their money at your expense every 3.6 years. You are literally paying for the privilege of being someone else's wealth engine. I refuse to watch one more person burn their best years in a machine designed to grind them down. The math is the only thing that doesn't lie. It's the only language the system can't manipulate. But there's a final blow. A hidden poison that makes even the rule of 72 look terrifying. Because as fast as you're trying to double your money, the system has a way to cut it in half before you even touch it. And that's where the real nightmare begins. The final blow and your escape plan. Now, the part that actually hurts. If you thought the system just forgot to teach you how to build wealth, you're wrong. It's a strategy. There's a dark side to the rule of 72 that they use to assassinate your future while you sleep. I call it the final blow. The rule of 72 isn't just a map to doubling your money. It's a timer for the murder of your purchasing power. I'm talking about inflation. The news treats it like weather. Natural and unavoidable. It's not. Inflation is a deliberate, invisible transfer of wealth. It's a silent tax you never voted for. Run the math they want you to ignore. Instead of seeing how fast your money doubles, use the rule to see how fast it dies. If inflation is at 3%, divide 72 by 3. In 24 years, your dollar buys half of what it does today. But look at the real world. At 7% or 10%, the rate's actually hitting American pockets. Your savings are sliced in half in just 7 to 10 years. This is infuriating. While you grind 50 hours a week to save, the system prints more currency, diluting everything you've earned. You're filling a bucket with a massive hole in the bottom. School taught you to carry the bucket with pride. They just forgot to mention the leak. They need you on that treadmill, working more hours just to afford the life your parents had with half the effort. You haven't done anything wrong. You followed the script. But the game is rigged. The modern financial system rewards exponential math and destroys linear workers. If you're earning 1% in a savings account while real inflation is 7%, you aren't safe. You are losing 6% of your life's energy every single year. You are literally paying the bank to devalue your life. It's a legalized heist. The only way out is to change sides. This isn't just a call to action, it's your survival. Stop being a spectator to your own destruction. You must move your capital into assets that outrun the printing press. If your money doubles slower than inflation, you are a slave. If it doubles faster, you are building a fortress. Mr. Pengo Money is here for one reason: to help you take back the control they stole from you. Every dollar invested correctly is a soldier working for your freedom 24/7. But you have to be the general. Stop accepting crumbs. Demand returns that respect your time. Time is the only resource you can't buy back. The system knows this. They want you to trade your life for paper that rots in your hand. Once you see the rule of 72, the matrix breaks. A credit card at 22% isn't convenience. It's a trap that doubles your debt in 3 years. A dividend asset isn't a stock. It's a wealth engine. You have two choices. Go back to sleep and watch your 1% account rot. Or do the math. The challenge, grab a pen. Apply the rule of 72 to your bank balance and your debts. Find out exactly when you'll be free or when you'll be buried. Let the truth burn. Use that fire as fuel. Don't just get mad, get wealthy. Subscribe to Mr. Pengo Money. We're dismantling the lies. Share this with someone who still trusts the bank. Let's break the cycle. Question: what is the biggest financial lie school told you? And what interest rate are you targeting to beat the system this year? Drop it in the comments. I'm reading. The system wants you as a slave. I want you as the master of your math. Thanks for watching. See you at the next level.